year with Arians, it probably isn't exactly the same in terms of his reaction. I think he'll just probably use it as fuel going forward.
No question about it. It'll be a fascinating story to watch the back half of the season, the offensive mastermind and the greatest offensive player of all time. Dan, thank you very much.
Willis Reed was 19, right? Willis Reed?
Oh, there you go. NBA.
Yeah, see?
So, there you go.
But that's Willis Reed, though, Dan. That's Willis Reed. He's allowed to be 19.
I'm just trying to think, because you're right.
mean?
19 doesn't look right on a basketball jersey. There aren't too many, but Willis Reed is the one, right?
Sam Cassell was 19.
Sam Cassell?
See, Dan, this is the problem. Now Key's going to put himself in the same conversation with Sam Cassell and Willis Reed.
No, this is a
That's
fan.
the problem, Dan. That's what's going to happen to me all day long now.
I'm a fanboy. What do you want me to say?
You know how I feel about grown men wearing jerseys, Key.
Well, you had on one.
Well, because you forced me to, because I lost the bet.
I can't force you to do nothing.
Sorry, Dan, to subject you to this. I'm sorry.
Can't force you to do anything, sir.
And by the way, if I didn't mention this, everybody would say it would fly over my head. What is Willis Reed known for more than anything? Hobbling back out onto the court.
Same thing Paul Pierce is known for.
Same thing Key's playing with right now. A hurt ankle coming back on the court.
Key and Willis Reed.
Playing
and
hurt.
Paul Pierce.
The foot injury.
Paul.
Your wheelchair's out in the back.
Yeah,
Hang on.
Paul,
So your wheelchair's
Paul
out in the
pulled that one on the Lakers, man. I wanted to pop him upside his head.
Willis Reed was triumphant in his return. Key will be triumphant when he hits the doctor later today. On the way, Key's real rankings. And speaking of hurt, not his foot, there's a team that's not going to be hurt. They're moving up 5 spots in Pennzoil Performance Line. There's a lot of interesting things percolating in Major League Baseball, even though the season has come to an end with Key's Dodgers winning it all. But we'll talk to Buster here in about 6 minutes. We're asking you this morning on the Dr. Pepper Twitter feed, who's the biggest threat to the Chiefs in the AFC? Hit us up, 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776, or if it's easier, Key J and Z on Twitter. Want to get your thoughts, going to get Jay's thoughts and Key's thoughts to that question in just a moment. But first, Dan Orlovsky, ESPN NFL analyst, weighing in on our question, the biggest threat to KC in the AFC.
To beat the Chiefs, you have to be explosive on offense. You just have to create big explosive plays. You know who's number 1 in the NFL in explosive plays on offense? The Kansas City Chiefs. You know who's number 2? Buffalo Bills. You have to have a quarterback that can go above X's and O's. You know, like, you're going to get good play calls from a lot of different teams. You better go above X's and O's, because sometimes the defense is going to make a good play, a big play. Can you kind of create on your own? And then the third thing would be this. They got a really good coaching staff. Yep. Brian Daboll looked at that game and said, you know what, Seattle's pass defense, not very good. We're going to throw the ball a bunch. They threw the ball, I think, every first down. Good. Every first down yesterday felt like they were throwing the ball. Stephon Diggs is great. Leslie Frazier was outstanding with his defensive plan. I think the Bills are the best and most equipped team to beat the Chiefs.
Quite the argument. Explosive plays. It's an offensive league. They are 1-2, as Dan said. Key, do you agree? The biggest threat to the Chiefs in the AFC. Dan is going Buffalo.
No, I don't agree. I'm not a prisoner of the moment. No, not at all. I understand that Josh Allen had a terrific game against a sorry-ass Seattle defense. I understand he is now back in some people's conversation for the sake of hype about an MVP. Josh Allen certainly played terrific against Seattle. There's no question about it. They do score in bunches. They have a lot of explosive plays, but that's not the only way you win football games. I think when you think about the Pittsburgh Steelers, that's a team, and then the team that beat Kansas City, the Oakland Raiders, John Gruden. For all of the John Gruden, Keyshawn Johnson relationship, sour, they don't like each other, this, that, and the other, whatever you want to call it, whatever it is, that dude can coach, though, man. He really is a good football coach. May not be a great quarterback coach and all that, may not have certain eye for talent, but when it comes to X's and O's and coaching and game planning in situations, he's really good at doing that. He's really good. And he beat Kansas City already this year in KC. Minimum fans, of course. They get him in Las Vegas with no fans, but you still get an opportunity to understand who Andy Reid is, someone that he knows. He knows Andy Reid's offense. He knows Spagnuolo's defense. He understands because of the division. And they have some really good talent on that side of the ball. Nelson Aguilar is coming along. Obviously, we know Waller the tight end. We know Josh Jacobs on the offensive side and Carr's playing terrific at the quarterback spot. They just got to continue to shore up that defense and make sure that back end of the defense is playing solid and sound. But I think those two teams, Pittsburgh and Oakland, Las Vegas, are the ones that challenge Kansas City for the opportunity to play in the Super Bowl.
What about you?
I think the Raiders can do it, but I have Pittsburgh, and I agree with Dan Orlovsky with the Bills. And I would say this about the Seattle game, because I know Key referred to them as their sorry-ass defense. They did get Carlos Dunlap. They did have Jamal Adams back in that game. Granted, their defense still has a lot of work to do, but I think that's a pretty good improvement. I think that what Dan's point was about the explosiveness of Josh Allen, having somebody to combat the plays that Patrick Mahomes can make, makes a lot of sense. And I do agree with him on the coaching staff aspect of it as well. Just Josh Allen, first down, they were taking advantage of the secondary each and every time. Stephon Diggs makes a huge adjustment in this ball game. They play out of their mind. Granted, I think they had a couple games where they were struggling. But, I mean, that's a matchup I would like to see at the end of the day, just due to their ability of scoring. And, look, their defense put so much pressure on Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson kind of moves a little bit like Patrick Mahomes. He might be more fluid, but I don't think Russell Wilson got hit as much as he did on that Sunday as he did his entire career. I mean, he was getting knocked off left and right.
Well, you know, for me, I look at it and I look at the way Buffalo has played this year. They're a very good football team, there's no question. They lost to Tennessee, obviously, Kansas City. They squeaked out a W against Miami, squeaked it out. And Miami's a good football team, turning into a very good football team. They're not running away with the division. New England, for all it's worth, they just tightened a grip on Buffalo in terms of Buffalo looking over their shoulders. Miami and Tua going out to Arizona just tightened the grip of Buffalo looking over their shoulders. So Buffalo has more to worry about than looking at it and saying, we can play Kansas City. Well, they got to get through the AFC East. Miami's not going away. Miami's not going anywhere. They're not going away at all.
We want to hear from you. So the fellas have weighed in. Dan Orlovsky has weighed in with Buffalo. We want to hear from you. 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. Key J&Z on Twitter. Simply put, one word, the team that poses the biggest threat to the Chiefs in the AFC. Just for a point of comparison, Key, this will be a big spot. One thing that you kind of glossed over, but I think is worth mentioning, is that Kansas City's already beaten Buffalo. So Orlovsky's going to have to go back and look at that tape here, Key, to see if Buffalo is the biggest threat to Kansas City, the fact that they're already 0-1.
I didn't really gloss over that. I just didn't want to keep hammering the obvious. That's all.
Well, we both said Steelers, and then we named another team that could potentially be a threat, though, correct? So just to make sure.
Yeah, keep in mind, Week 11, Kansas City will take on Las Vegas. So, Key, if they want to really step up, really step up.
Can you tell everybody what's going on with your ankle?
Go ahead, real quick.
No, my ankle hurts, man.
You know that's not elevating it, right? You know it's still below your heart.
It hurts, man. That's all I know.
You should elevate it, keep it above your heart.
I'm fine just doing like this, man. It just hurts.
It's getting
That's
a
all.
sympathy vote right now.
It hurts.
All right. Quickly,
Non-athlete.
It was a non-athletic injury? Yeah.
But what was so cool is I didn't fall.
I
was able to hold my balance.
Were you by yourself or were you in public?
No, I was at home.
Oh, okay. So you're by yourself early in the morning? Yeah.
Last couple of things. Kansas City, Las Vegas. We'll see just how good the Raiders are if they can pull off a season sweep of the Chiefs. That'll be in Week 11. And Week 14, Jay, I wanted to mention your two contenders are actually going to meet. Buffalo will take on Pittsburgh in Week 14. That could be sort of a good eliminator game as well.
It's a lot of season left. And like I said, man, it sounds good. The hype machine is rolling. They got games to play. I've seen this movie before. Oh, these guys are this and that. It's like, man, just slow down a little bit. Slow down. Because for whatever it's worth, and I understand New England has put themselves in a hole, but they're not going away. They're not going away. They're not going away. You think last night Bill Belichick didn't fly back to Boston thinking, well, if we could just do this next week against Baltimore, maybe if we can somehow put a plan together to beat them, then we can do. I mean, that's what the NFL is all about.
And Week 10 of the NFL will be here before you know it. Indy and Tennessee begins Week 10 on Thursday. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin is presented by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive